Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny here with my beloved for our belated December.
Yeah, a little behind.
We're a little behind. We, new year, new puppy.
Yeah.
But we did
take a trip.
We did take a trip. And so that's the main reason that we are really, I guess, like a week late in getting this out. But we took a Jerry and Jenny only trip. And we went down to Marco Island in Florida for a couple of nights. And this was really kind of a belated anniversary trip, but also just time to have by ourselves.
Yeah, we have been married for 21 years. So we're married in 2000. So our 20th would have been 2020. So our place that we were wanting to go, we couldn't go to.
Everything was shut down in COVID,
yeah,
right?
So then last year was really crazy busy during the summer. So this really worked out very good for us.
It did. It did. We had an amazing time. It was our first time ever being in that part of Florida. Gorgeous, beautiful. Had a fantastic time. But it was nice to come home.
Yep.
Nice to come home.
So it's rolling. It's January here, and plants are coming this week and next week.
This week?
Yeah, we got perennials coming this week.
Oh, perennials. We did. We got back from Florida, and in the mailbox was this huge 2 boxes from Walter's Gardens with the tags. So they send us the plant tags before we get, like the week before we get the plants. And so, yeah, so we have, that's true, perennials this week, annuals next week. So the fun begins. So that is going on. We are going to do our Q&A, so just hang on just for a second. We are not on the porches because it's a little bit breezy and the sun is getting ready to go down. So we're going to be on the move here and go from location to location to do your questions that you have asked. And one of those was not really a question. I'll just go ahead and jump into it. But one of you sweet folks had noticed on Proven Winners website that they have launched the rough schedule for the Grand Garden Show in Mackinac Island, Michigan. So if you're not familiar with what the Grand Garden Show is, it's just this unbelievable showcase of gardens on Mackinac Island. I will put a link in the video description so you can go there and see for yourself. But we're super excited because this year, it's always held at the end of August. We are going to be a part of the show. Proven Winners asked if I would be one of the keynote speakers. So I will be there speaking on some topic to be determined. But we'll all be there. Jerry will be there, of course. Yeah. The kids are coming. Yeah, it's going to be a whole family affair, so we're super excited. But of course, Laura will be there. Jack Barnwell will be there. And then there are a couple of other folks that will be there as well. So if you are interested in that, or you don't even know what it is, check out the link. All the information is there. So we will be excited to be a part of that show coming up in August. Anything else? Any housekeeping we need to take care of?
No, we know just the projects that we've been going. I think they've seen the videos on those. We did start electrical in the new greenhouse on Saturday. We're going to work on that again tomorrow. Just kind of trying to get some wire to all the appliances.
It's a lot like just the logistics of trying to get everybody. Whew.
Yeah, we'll show you in a video, like a tour type thing, and show you the power box, the controller for the doors, and it's a whole gizmo of things.
It is.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we are going to move to our first location and start answering your questions. Let's do it. The first video that we are going to cover in the Q&A was planting new camellias. Here beside of me, we planted 2 of the early wonder camellias from the Southern Living Plant Collection to create eventually a privacy screen here in front of the garden shed. So the first question is from Anissa. This is going to look amazing. Can these shrubs be trained into a tree, or is that a different variety? Excellent question. No, really basically with just about any camellia or shrub that has somewhat of a height to it, you could train it into a standard form or a tree form. So these early wonders would work really well. The only thing that I could think of of a camellia that wouldn't work for that would be like the white shishi, which is only like 3 feet tall, you know, and wide. But anything with at least, you know, 4 feet or above, absolutely. So you could just start at the bottom, and every year that you prune, just start pruning it, find that main trunk, and go for it. No. So very, very good question. Cantor says, does getting rid of our chickens involve flour, spices, and a vat of hot oil? So the reason, I think Jerry's like, what is he talking about? This used to be our chicken coop and our chicken run. So I said that we got rid of our chickens in the video. So I just thought that was, I appreciate your humor. So no, we did not eat the chickens. They didn't turn into fried chickens. Some of them, of course, the flock just kind of thinned itself naturally. But then we rehomed them to other folks who wanted to have, you know, chickens in their family. So, you know, I just thought that was kind of funny. Maggie says, can you tell me what kind of sun the camellia will get? Will the tea olive block it? Fantastic question. So right beside of me on my left is a hedge of tea olives. Tea olives will eventually get to be quite tall and will come together and form a hedge, like a solid wall. This area itself gets really intense hot sun. So the sun comes up on the back side of the garden shed and then comes over and sets right here in the summertime. These are, I believe, I know they're full sun to part sun camellias, so that means a minimum of 5 hours of direct sunlight or more. They will most definitely get that amount of sun, but also when the tea olives are that big, the camellias will be that, you know, a good size too, full grown size. So they will get tons of sun. So, but it is a really good question, and that's why I did not plant my white by the gate camellia here, because it's more of a shade camellia and this would just get too much sun. It's a great question though. Something to think about when you're planting your plants is one plant gonna outshadow another plant. Love it. Debbie says, do you not loosen the soil around the roots when you plant them? I have always done that to my plants. Just curious as to why you didn't. We've addressed this before in some other videos. Very rarely do we loosen soil, the soil or the roots on our plants. The only time that you really need to do that is when your plants are extremely root bound. So I think in a minute we're going to go over here and on the video when we were planting that one more Oakland holly, and y'all loved it when Jerry was beating it out of the pot. That was a really root bound plant, and he did break them up. Generally speaking, no, you do not need to do that. And sometimes, not often, but sometimes you can be a little too vigorous in breaking up those roots and you're going to do more damage. Only if you have massive root system that's like a complete whiteout on the pot would you break it up. Otherwise, no. KL says, I've been dying for an update on your sweet olives, so this worked out twice as nicely for me. Are they growing in how you had hoped? We were thinking of using them as a privacy screen, but I am thinking they won't be dense enough. They would also be in full intense sun 24/7. We are in Houston, border zone 8B, 9A. So I can't decide if that's just too much for them, but I love them so much anyway. They are amazing plants. So these are the tea olives, sweet osmanthus. Depending on where you live, they'll go by different names. So KL, in my gardening philosophy, I say go for it. Go for it and try it. I love them. If you know that you need like a really intense, thick privacy screen, then you're going to plant them closer together, right? So if you want to see an individual plant, you spread them out. If you need a solid screen, you plant them closer together. They are doing really well. They've not even been in the ground for a year this year. They did not really bloom this year, which for me, that's fine, because that tells me that they're putting more energy into getting established. I know that they will bloom prolifically next year and the coming years, but they have done really nicely. And so what I will do come probably like April, I'll come and just top them off just a little bit. When you prune them, that helps make sure that they're nice and thick at the bottom and not too long and leggy. These are rapid growers, so it will not take long at all for them to get nice and full. And again, by pruning them, you're encouraging growth to come out this way, and so they'll all just tie in nicely. But yes, they are doing great. Carol says, hi Jenny, I have a small camellia that I planted in early fall, but I want to move it. Is this a good time? It's a Sasanqua and it's blooming. I would wait on that until probably, so obviously you're in the south because you have the camellia. I would probably wait until maybe like March, April to move it. If it's, if the Sasanqua is blooming, I would wait until we get it because we're going into the coldest part of our winter. So just wait until a little bit closer to spring to move it. All right, now we are going to move on to our next video. Stay tuned. The next video that we are going to answer questions on is planting jonquils and pruning hydrangeas on what I have kind of deemed hydrangea hill behind me. So Mary says, what camera are you using now? Do you use a gimbal when filming yourself? The quality is excellent. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. We work hard to bring you nice high quality videos. Fun little fact, that video mainly was shot using my iPhone. So I have my phone here because it has all your questions on it. But yeah, so yes, we do use gimbals. You will know when we do not use a gimbal because you'll get seasick. It's just all around. But I have a gimbal that my phone can sit on, and so I can just wheel it up and down, and it's very smooth. It is fantastic. But what I love about my iPhone is it's because it's always in my back pocket. It's very easy to use, and we can shoot in 4K. So what you're seeing is just a 4K quality video. I think we did use maybe the big camera, our Canon camera. No, that video was shot entirely using the iPhone. We had the phone, a Canon 90D camera, and then a GoPro 10 that we use. So those are the three main cameras that we use, and of course then the drone. So Patricia says, do the hedge trimmers make a clean cut or do they macerate the stems? Maybe my trimmers are just dull, maybe it doesn't matter, because in the video we have both firelight hydrangeas and the little lime hydrangeas, and while we were in the space I went ahead and we pruned them because they are panicle hydrangeas. They bloom on new growth. You need to prune them before the spring season starts. We use steel, they're steel clippers, they're an electric clipper, fantastic, I love them. No, it's a clean cut. So if your clippers are really just chewing up your stems and your stalks, maybe it's time to go get the blades sharpened. But no, it is a nice clean cut, does great. As far as does it matter or not, I wouldn't imagine that it would be the best thing for the plant if its stems were really kind of mangled. I'm looking at my growing expert. He's just kind of like, nah. A clean cut, of course, is always the preferred one. Will it kill the plant? No, I don't think so. Brian asks, so did you prune above or below last year's prune? We pruned above. Because you're looking at the 1/3 of the plant size, because if every year you prune at the same cut, you start out with a small plant and you always cut at that place, then you're going to have weak stems. So you always want to cut whatever that total size of the plant is, cut back by no more than 1/3, so all of those stems get nice and strong and you never have floppy hydrangeas. Audrey says, will you mulch again in early spring? No, that is the beauty of using a nice high quality mulch and laying it down in 2 to 3 inches worth of thickness. No, this will last easily for a year. And in fact, this I don't think had been done for since 18 months. Once a year is preferred, but certainly not in the spring. All right, moving on to the next one. Okay, the next video that we are going to go over is the flower bed transformation space that you see behind me. We had been in this bed I think the month before, and we planted 4 Oakland hollies. We came back, we cleaned the bed up, we planted several phantom hydrangeas, and then 1 more Oakland holly. This is the one that I was telling you that Jerry was having fun in the background while I was talking to you folks, and he was just getting after it. Wanda says, Jenny, what is the sun and shade amount where you have everything planted? Great question. So this bed ties in to the garden shed where the camellias are planted, where we were just a few minutes ago. So there's like one big kind of continuation. So again, the sun comes up here on my right, goes straight over to the left. So this is considered a full sun bed. Yes, we have the maple tree and it does provide shade, but it's not a blackout situation. So even though we have the maple tree that is growing, this is still very much considered a full sun bed, because everywhere in the bed at some point in the day gets at least 5 hours of direct sunlight. Oh, my eyes, y'all. It's windy. C. Julie 1 says, I've lost my bearings. Is this by the new parking area? It sure is. So I know it can be a little bit confusing, and we did move the cars because we didn't want the cars in the video, but I think you can see kind of the tail end of one of the cars. So the angle that we shot the most of that video was from as if you were approaching the bed, whereas last time we were coming from the back of the bed. So the Oaklands are in the back and the parking spaces are right behind those Oaklands. So we will have, just to give you a perspective, it will be the Amsonia first, then the hydrangeas, the maple tree, the Oaklands, the parking lot, and then behind that will be the other phantoms and the cryptomerias that we did a month ago. So it kind of gives you an idea. I have a hair somewhere. There we go. Linda says, are any of the various tones you use suitable for all those plants? I think I addressed that in that video, but if you only have one tone on hand, that what we're talking about are the Espoma fertilizers. All of their fertilizers end in tone, plant tone, holly tone, rose tone. If you only have one of the fertilizers, one of the tones, plant tone would be it. So I say that plant tone is like the Swiss Army knife of fertilizers. When in doubt, use plant tone. If you want to be specific, you can. You certainly don't have to though. The red and white farmhouse. That just sounds very sweet. Jenny, what brand are your boots? Do you like them? Thanks. So the boots that I have on in some of the newest videos, those are from Carhartt. I do like them. They are a different style though than my previous boots. My previous boots I had kind of that lighter gray color are from Danner. I love, love, love the Danner boots, but Jerry went to go order some more, and like a lot of things during this post or pre-current COVID world, whatever world we're in, it's hard, we couldn't get them. Like we were going to order them, they were going to be back ordered, and then they just said, no, we're canceling the order. So I can't get the Danner boots, which I love, so we got Carhartt boots. I do like them, but they're higher up on my ankle, and I'm having to break them in, right? So it's new leather, it's a little stiffer, so I'm having to kind of break them in a little bit, but they are comfortable, they're waterproof, they have that steel toe on them, so I feel like I can do just about anything in them. But yes, I do recommend them. But my favorites are the Danner. All right, Green Thumbelina, Miss Margie. She says, Jenny and Jerry, I absolutely love how well you work together, and I love seeing your vision come to life. Will you let the hydrangeas grow to their full height of 8 to 10 feet? They will make a lovely screen for your parking area. I wish I had more land to plant larger trees and shrubs, but my lot is a 66 by 120, so I'll look for smaller and more narrow varieties. I hope you have a prosperous, healthy, and happy new year. Thank you, Miss Margie. Same to you. Yes, we will let these grow to their full height. As the maple tree grows, we will continue to limb it up so that we have lots of room underneath it for both the phantom hydrangeas to get their nice and big size and the Oakland hollies. Now, I certainly understand that not everybody has room to let these huge hydrangeas grow. So there are tons of small varieties of hydrangeas that you would be interested in. One that I'm thinking of instantly was the Limelight Prime. Limelight Prime is a new one from Proven Winners. It was out last year on the first time, but that same great panicle look of the Phantom, but in a more petite size. So I think that would be a really nice one if you could find it, but that would be a great one for you to check out. And then of course Little Lime, right? So that's even the smaller version. All right, I think that is it. Oh, no, we have one more. I was looking at the dates and I was like, okay, we're gonna go up to December the 29th. Okay, that's the last one. But no. We're saving the best one for last. This was a day with Jerry landscaping. So he gets to come in the video and answer some questions. He's looking at me. Sure, you know now.
I didn't know.
Well, why not? We're here.
Okay.
The sun's going down. My hand's almost frozen.
Switch it up.
We're gonna switch it up a little bit. All right. So this was a day where we followed Jerry around and some things that he was doing, both here at the house, the nursery. I was actually filming a video. He was filming a video. We were trying to get ready to go to Florida. And when we go on vacations and things, we always have to double up the week before so that we can still have videos. All right, so our first question for that video comes from Donna. She says, so why did you kill all the bushes rather than replant, especially the huge holly?
It was the lady's house. She wanted them all gone.
Yeah.
So we ripped them all out.
Right.
They had been there a long time. The hollies were massive. Holly trees, you're not transplanting those again.
No.
Their root system, especially those, were just way too big. It would be way expensive to be able to dig a tree out like that to transplant into another area. Mm-hmm. So she wasn't paying for that, so we ripped them out.
Right.
I mean, we do what the customer asks us to do. So
the customer wanted a fresh new landscape.
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
That's what we do, and we do that a lot. And it's we come in, take the machine. It's the fastest way. Rip it all out. It's very rare that we dig a shrub up and replant it unless it's just something new. Mm-hmm. And in fact, there at Janice's, we had been there in the spring planting some new stuff in her front, and I had to get to a red maple. Mm-hmm. So I dug the shrub up that we had planted in the spring. Because I knew we could get to the root system without disturbing it. We dug it up, got the machine in, ripped the plant out, and put it back.
Right.
And we did a landscape job, I think it was the late fall. Yeah, it was before Thanksgiving, I think, or after Thanksgiving, where the homeowners had 2 shrubs that they wanted planted in another spot, and we did that. So it was not. It really depends on the shrub, the plant, and how long it's been there, and 2, what it's worth or not. Because by the time you pay me to really take care of taking it out and saving all the dirt, and so we could have already ripped it out and probably planted you a new plant. So
right.
And she was wanting something new. It had been there since they built the house.
I said that they've been in that house, I think, for was it 25 years, something like that? I mean, they've been in that house for a long time. They weren't performing well. They had been pruned down so far. It's what the customer wanted. It's what the customer got.
Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell. All right, Irish Girl says, hey Jerry, nice work as always.
Thank you.
Will your customer have you install irrigation and lighting in her project? It's going to be lovely.
I meant to ask her about the lighting. Yeah.
He gets all excited about these things. We're in zone 9B10, so Southern California, so irrigation is always on my mind. So that's where she's coming from.
We did put a drip line in.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the drip line is in there, and in all of her beds, she has.
All we had to do was attach to an existing drip line that I had previously installed.
And in those videos, in the video, you wouldn't know it, but when he was doing the demo, you could see where he was ripping out irrigation that had been there. It was a drip line that had been there.
It was actually like a soaker hose that was rotted out.
Yep. And then lighting.
We haven't talked about lighting. She hasn't mentioned that. It would be. I thought about maybe just sticking a pre-wire in the columns that I have to build.
Oh yeah.
And that way, if she decides later on, that
Right.
way it would be easy. But I may mention it to her. I don't. She hasn't said, but that it would. Since we're not putting a patio pavers there, it wouldn't be too hard to go back
Right.
and do some extra lighting.
And I think too, you can see from the video that Janice is much like we are, where we're not on a street, so nobody sees your landscape lighting except for you. So it's not like we're in a neighborhood or there's a road that goes by. So, but I do think on that patio, that would be nice to have landscape lighting. I think that'd be good.
That'd be cool.
All right, Cheryl says, fun video. I noticed that everything seemed to have a shallow root system, even the tree next to the house. Is that typical for heavy clay soils? I promise I will no longer complain about my soil here in Northwest Ohio. Thanks, Jerry, for the ride along. Happy New Year to you and your family.
Yeah, what was interesting about that spot, though, that the azaleas up front were really, whatever that was, I'll be honest with you, I can't remember now, but
On the side?
that kind of, there
Or
were
by the
azaleas,
patio?
but on where the patio's going, those shrubs
Oh, yeah, I
just
don't know
came
what that
right
was.
out. And they were just so bare at the time.
Sticks.
I didn't really pay much attention. Might have been, I don't know. But the maple was pretty well rooted. I was trying to be careful with it just to see, but then, you know, it was just, we got it out. But underneath all the topsoil was a really pan of red clay because I had to dig all that loose topsoil out. So that may have played into it, or it just could have been the shrubs. And it was real wet back there.
Yeah, so different shrubs, different trees have different root systems. Some go deep, some go out. So
Yeah.
interesting note though. Carol says, really enjoy seeing the prep work for that job. Is it normal for the grass to brown out like that during the winter months?
Yep.
So it depends on what kind of grass you have. So
Does.
we have fescue grass, which you can probably see behind us in the video. So
way
fescue
back.
is a cool weather grass, considered a cool season grass, cool weather grass, whatever. So it stays green. In the hottest parts of the summer, it will start to go dormant a little bit. So it'll go a little bit brown. She has warm weather grass, so I don't know if it's Bermuda.
Some type of Bermuda that's wild.
Right, Bermuda,
a turf
centipede, zoysia, those are warm weather grasses. So yes, here they go brown in the winter, but then they stay nice and green even in the hottest parts of the summer. So it's just the type of grass that she has.
We can do different varieties here.
We can do both cool and warm weather because we had that semi-asset before. Well, we're just in that, right on
We're
that
in the
line.
transition zone for grasses.
That's the perfect word. Thank you very much. Transition zone.
Yep.
Yep. All right, my friends. So that is the last video for the month of December. As always, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for all of your massive support. In fact, maybe before this video goes out, I don't know, but we're about to hit 50,000 subscribers.
Oh, we are? Yeah.
We are getting quite close. So I don't know, like I said, maybe before this video goes out, we will hit it, but if not, we should really soon. So it has been a wild, wonderful journey and experience, and we just cannot wait to keep bringing you fantastic content from our family and Creekside Nursery and Gardening with Creekside and all the things that we have been doing. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Y'all have a fantastic day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.
Bye.